Hey there friends, Nibs again, out here in the garage tonight, doing a little bit of goofing around, and I had one of the viewers on the channel made a comment about wanting to see this rack of guns that I have up here for a good bit more time so they could take a closer look at them, but I thought I'd do one better and one at a time take them down and do a couple of quick shots with them and tell you a little bit more about them. And I decided, because I think it's going to be too long to be all one video, so what I'm going to do is this lower half is, the left half is all non-Crosmans, and then everything up here on this rack are all Crosmans. So we're going to do the non-Crosmans first, and then, well, one of them's a Han, so that's almost a Crosman, but we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. I have a can across the garage here that I've been working on for a little while now, getting cut up. Maybe we'll get it cut up before the end of this challenge here, this presentation, but I'm gonna get this one down first because it'll be in the way for a lot of the others. But what we have here is my Sheridan Blue Streak. This one was made in 1970, and it has a month code of L, which I believe is November, if I'm remember my Sheridan lore well enough. But this one is a 20 caliber. It's not the only 20 caliber in the lot up here, but it is the only pumper in this particular group that we're going to talk about, I think. Nope, got one other pumper. So let's go ahead and shoots pretty strong. So I bought this one at a gun show last year. So even 3 pumps more than enough. Can's pretty well chewed up, so maybe I should have started with a new can, but I'm just going to work my way across, no particular order. I got them kind of arranged in daisies, and then a couple of oddballs, and then Quackenbushes at the end. So stick around to the end if you want to see the Quackenbushes. So this one I have not had very long. This is a Daisy Model 102, number 102, Model 36. This is a pre-World War II Daisy. These were made between 36 and like 1940, 41. And you can tell this one is a nickel-plated one. The nickel-plated ones were made before World War II. When they started production back up after World War II, 1947-ish, they were, all the 36s were blued. It does have a cast iron handle, and pretty cool. So let's go ahead and, this one has a little bit of trouble feeding BBs still, so not right now though. So far so good. Do one more and we'll move on. We got a lot to do. But that is a pretty cool old gun. I do have another old Daisy. Another old Daisy that I actually just won in an auction on eBay. And it's not a pre-World War II, it's just post-World War II. It's a Model 155. But that's a pretty cool little piece of history as well. Still a low pivot point. So somewhere, I'm not sure exactly when, mid-50s, late 50s, they switched from a low pivot point to a high pivot point. I do have, let me see here, I got a couple of high pivot point guns here. So here's a high pivot point gun. You can see that's tucked up in there. That actually decrease the cocking effort by quite a bit on these. These older ones are pretty tough to cock, but what we have here, this one's probably my oldest Daisy right now, at least. This is a Daisy Model B, and this one was probably made in the early 20s, if I did my dating correctly, and it is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and see if this one will feed the BB. I'm not sure why these older ones are having some difficulties feeding BBs for me, but I don't know if the ballistic spheres were smaller back then. There we go. All right, so that's the Model B, probably the oldest, not the oldest of this bunch up here, but I'm pretty sure it's the oldest Daisy I have right now. All right, the next one is another cool pre-World War II Daisy. This is a Buzz Barton. There's the roll stamp. This one has a hole drilled in there. Somebody probably put a leather sling on this or something. But this one's pretty cool. So this one has the, so this one is a early production one. You can tell because it doesn't have the bottle cap. It has this very small knurled ring around the front. That was only in 1931, or 30 and 31. In 1930, they would have had a paper tag sticker on here. And then in 31, they started doing this heat stamped embossing on the stock. But this is a pretty cool gun. And then in 32, they would have had the bottle cap. Again, let me get, this is a good example of the bottle cap. It looks like a soda bottle cap. Some of the older ones up here do have bottle caps, but these earlier ones did not. So I did just get done repairing a Buzz Barton for, standby. Just got done repairing a Buzz Barton for Ted, one of the viewers on the channel. He sent it over to me to take a look at for him. The leather seal was all crumbled up inside of it, and I replaced it with a newer rubber set of seals, and I also built this little scope for it, the little scope tube. It was missing that, so I thought it needed one of those on there. But this is pretty cool. Let's take it. Oh, I don't have any BBs in this one. Let me throw a couple in there real quick. Again, this is in probably a 1931 vintage model. So this one's still breaking in. It's not nearly as fast as mine was shooting, but it still does a pretty good job. Oop, I think it fed two that time. But there you go. That is another Buzz Barton. I actually have another one around here somewhere that is in need of some repairs and maintenance. But let's keep on moving. So this is another fairly new one that I just recently picked up. This one is a Model 103. Pretty cool. I think it's the only one that I have up there that has a plastic stock. But this one is pretty cool. It has the kind of fancy aluminum lever. And from what I can tell, this one was probably made in like 1959. Just after Daisy moved from Plymouth, Michigan to Rogers, Arkansas. So let's go ahead and take a couple shots with this one. missed it. I gotta hit that thing again. Maybe not. All right, we're moving on. All right, this next one is really, really cool. This is one of my, kind of my favorites. This is a early production, not the earliest production, but an early production Daisy Red Ryder. And it is in really, really nice shape. Very, very nice. Just the tiniest little bit of patina, but it is in really nice shape. So this one was made between 1947 and 1949. And the reason I can tell that, the earlier ones, this band up here and this band right here, would have been made out of copper. That's like pre-World War II, and then they ceased production during World War II, and when they started back up in 47, they put steel bands on here. And also the earlier ones would have had a cast iron lever. This one has an aluminum lever. And then in 1949, they started using plastic stocks. So this one has wood stocks front and back. Come on. Not getting very far cutting that can up, but still having fun. All right, so this next one's probably one of the earliest old daisies that I have. And this is a very small youth model, very reminiscent of the like the Buck 105 that you have nowadays. This is a Model 101, or number 101, Model 36. And again, these ones were made starting in 1936 and ran till they ceased production in 40 or 41. The stock's got a pretty good whammy in the crack there, which is pretty typical of these stocks breaking because of somebody putting torque on that, and it cracks up off the top there. But still a pretty cool gun. This one is a single shot, so you actually single load 1 BB at a time down the muzzle, and then you cock it and fire it. And this one has some pretty good power. I've actually used this when I was shooting pellets out of it. It's pretty fun. You take a pellet and put it in the end there, and then you use a cleaning rod to push it down in there. It shoots them pretty darn good. But I think you could do that with just about any one of these, really, if you wanted to. All right, just about done with the daisies. So this one is an oddball amongst daisies, but this is pretty cool. This is a Daisy Model 25. This is one of their pump actions, not their only pump action. I did have a Buck Jones in the garage here that was on loan to me to play around with for a little while from one of the guys at the gun store. Sorry, this is a number 25. I can't remember the type it is. It's not an oldest production one, but it is an old one. This one was made somewhere between 1936 and 1952. And the earlier ones would have had, so this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bands on the handle. The earlier ones would have had 5 bands on the handle. And then also the earlier ones would not have had this pressed in engraving on the receiver. And then in 1952 they started actually painting that on instead of pressing it in. But you cock it like a pump action shotgun, and there we go. Ooh, can's getting. All right, that was the last of the daisies. Now we're moving on to some other cool stuff. So this is a Swedish, the brand is called Excellent, and this is a Model C1. The Model C1 started production in 1905 and ran all the way up until about 1946 according to the Blue Book of Gun Values. This one is a very early one. The earliest ones between 1905 and 1912 would have had this metal handle up in the front. And then in 1912, 1913, they switched this to a serrated, or had grooves on it like the Model 25, wooden handle up front. So you flip this over to open up the breech here. And this shoots a very odd size, .21 caliber round balls. Sometimes it doesn't want to go in there, and I have to use just a little tiny, I think like a choke ring right around the front edge there. Once it goes in just fine and fires. But you close the breech, then you press that to cock it, and now you pump it. And it fires. Let's do one more. If the can breaks, we'll have to pause and put a new one up. Like that. All right. So stand by while I hang up a new can. Alrighty, I am back, and I think I already have one of these up on the mobile over here, but maybe I'll start another one. But let's get moving along here. So we got a couple of brake barrels here, really pretty cool. This one is a German manufactured. It's made by a company called Falk, like Peter Falk, F-A-L-K-E. Make sure you enunciate that well. But this one was made just post World War II, in the early 50s, from what I can tell, and only for a couple of years. So very small, very tiny, little youth-sized, very easy to cock, but it has pretty good power. This one was running with lighter pellets close to like 450, 500, if I remember right. But it is very accurate. All right, I'll do one more and then we'll keep going. There we go, that's a nice hole. Ooh, got a little bit of orange paint splatter from a splatter ball down range there still. All right, let's keep going. All right, this next one is a really cool old brake barrel. This one is made by the Hanel company, and this one is the Hanel Model 1. So I think it probably was their very first air rifle. They also made a bunch of pistols back in this time, but this is a really cool 177 caliber brake barrel. Again, it's a youth size. It's not quite as tiny as that Falk Model 50, but it is still pretty tiny. But it has a barrel latch here. You pull back to unlock the barrel. That is really cool. I wish more brake barrels had that. It's very, very positive. Kind of cool, kind of fun going through all the different kinds of guns and styles and everything they've made over about 100 years here. Actually, I've got a couple here that were from the 1800s, so stand by for that. So that's the Hanel. All right, so this may be actually the newest gun up here in the rack. This is a Winchester Model 425. This is a little youth-sized air rifle as well, but this one is actually chambered in .22 caliber. They did make this in a 177 as well. but this one was made in 1970. I got a couple of Winchester brake barrels out here in the garage, made by Diana. These were made by Diana. But they only made them for like right around 1 year, just not even 1 year maybe, from what I've read online. All right, that is the Winchester 425 made by Diana. All right, so this next one's kind of an oddball. You could almost call this one a Crosman, but this one is a Han Super Repeater, and this is a BB gun. It has a little BB magazine here. These were made in the 60s. I'm not exactly sure when in the 60s they were made, but probably mid-60s. This is a CO2 powered gun, and it is a lever action. They got that little feeder ramp right there that'll let one BB feed down into the chamber, and then it shoots it. So, pretty cool gun. Really cool little BB repeater. Those are tough to find too. All right, getting down to the last ones. I know this is getting to be a longer video, but this is one of the coolest guns I think I have out here in the garage, at least as far as my tastes go. This one is, from what I can find, made by a company called Eisen Work, and they call this the Gem, and they also call it a number 13. And I haven't been able to narrow down a very specific date, but these were made, from what I could find, between 1873 and 1900. So really, really cool, old. So there's a brake barrel. Open it up like that. It is a 177 caliber smooth bore, but it is a very accurate little pellet gun for being a smooth bore, and just the tiniest little V-notch and just a little tiny post up front. It is it's a very accurate gun. I've put this head to head up against some of my much more, what you would think was a much more accurate gun out here in the garage, and this thing's held its own for sure. And it packs a wallop. So that one's pretty cool. So the Eisen Work number 13. All right, these last three are actually pretty cool because they were made actually fairly near to where I live, less than an hour away from where I live. The factory for these was in Herkimer, New York. So this first one is a Quackenbush number 1, and even though the number 1 was their earliest production gun, it was also their longest produced gun, and they produced these all the way up until 1933 when they ceased production. Per the serial number, this one is actually right around that 1932, 1933 production date, but these were made as early as like 1873 or in the 1870s. So you push the barrel back until it locks in the sear, and then you pull it forward till you see this little pellet door there. Then you take so this would use what they call a felted slug, a 20 caliber felted slug, or they also shot darts out of these, but I don't have either one of those. But it does do a pretty good job. It shoots 20 caliber pellets like you'd shoot out of the Sheridan pretty darn well. So let's do one more of those. So that's the Quackenbush number 1. I have a couple more Quackenbushes to take a look at. Oop. So when I closed it, the pellet actually slid back and was not up inside the barrel, so it wouldn't. The air just pulled past it. All right, so that is the Quackenbush #1. When I got that one, it did not work. Somebody had actually tried to shoot a steel BB out of it, and when they cocked it, the steel BB fell down inside the action and had it all boogered up inside there. I had to do a bunch of very nice, very precise metal reforming, and but I got it back working again. So now this one's pretty cool. This one is a Quackenbush #4, and this is the oldest air gun that I can confirm its age. This is per the serial number, and it only has a 3-digit serial number on it. Per the serial number, and from the Quackenbush book that I was able to borrow from a friend at the at the gun range. This one was made in 1883. This one shoots 20 caliber round balls, and I'll show you how this thing loads up and how we put a BB, well, I call them BBs. They're not BBs, they're 20 caliber round balls. But so it has this little loading door here, very reminiscent of a lot of, you know, Daisy and Crosman BB guns in later years. But you pull that back, and there's a little round hole there, and you drop in, I think it'll hold 20 or 21 of these 22 caliber round balls. Thankfully Gamo's still making those. But once you do that, you cock your barrel back, and while your barrel's back, you watch this little, you pull that forward, it'll increment one BB into the holder here, then you rock it forward and it'll drop down into the chamber. Pull your barrel back forward. Oh, what happened? All right, stand by. I got to figure out what's going on here. Alrighty, I am back. I had a, I don't know what happened, but one of the lead balls had gotten jammed in there. Must be it happened the last time I shot it or something. I don't know. I shot it once already, but let's go ahead and stick a couple more balls in there and see if we can get a couple shots downrange. I've never had problems with this thing, so it's very odd. But those are the trials and tribulations of antique guns. There we go. All right, do one more. All right, there we go. That is the Quackenbush #4. All right, last but not least, this is a beast of a gun, and it is a pretty cool gun. So this is a Quackenbush #5, and this one is actually not only an air gun, but it is a firearm. So this one, per the serial number on this one was made around 1905, and it has a little globe sight up in the front there. Pretty cool. Has a peep sight on the back that you can flip down and also use the buckhorn right there. But the most interesting feature of this gun is it will shoot 22 caliber pellets, or inside of this little trap door there's a little piece of metal, and you take that piece of metal, and right here where the leather breech seal is, you pull that leather breech seal out, put that piece of metal in there, that little metal tab, and then you can shoot 22 shorts out of this gun. So it's pretty darn cool. I'm just going to shoot it with a regular old Crosman Premier hollow point. Shoots them just fine. I did shoot this with the 22 shorts, and it is it is much more accurate with pellets, but it does shoot them pretty decent. It is a very accurate gun. So again, 1905, and That is pretty awesome. All right, so there we go. Got a can cut. Went through them. Kind of a long video, but I'm sure you guys will appreciate it and love this stuff. But we'll be doing the Crosmans next in part B. And hope you guys like this video. Till next time, have a great day.